नमस्कार, मैं हूं अली अब्बास। तेज़ रफ्तार न्यूज़ में आपका स्वागत है। आइए नज़र डालते हैं आज की कुछ ताज़ा खबरों पर।
Statement that we are indeed progressing well as women to be very strong partners with our dear men who have gone ahead of us many years. And now I think what we are asking is that little step to give us that possibility for us to come and be your partners at a similar level to advance and be able to collectively work towards the achievement of the objectives that we have set ourselves up for in the context of our families, in the context of our communities, and indeed in the context of our countries and the global world as a whole. The attainment of those sustainable goals in a way that is inclusive, in a way that empowers the women, and in a way that empowers youth. Excellency, Justice Tiru P. Satasivan, you've seen the challenge, Miss Pandey, Mr. Hari Shankar, and indeed my dear friend Seema, members of Indian ITM Society, Excellencies, and your beautiful national outreach and indeed support activities are measured, and they are for all of us to see on this special day when you celebrate 40 years of being in existence. Third point is achievable. The targets set by your founders and right through to your current leadership have been achieved through hard work and strategic thinking. Achievement is a great indicator of success. Therefore, you are here fighting fit and looking ahead. Fourth, relevant.
Shri S. Harishankar, Chairman, India ITME Society, Her Excellency, Madam Dorothy Tembo, Deputy Executive Director, ITC UN, Geneva, Mrs. Swati Pante, Postmaster General, Mumbai Region, Government of India, Consul Generals and Embassy officials, representatives from various countries, honorable members of reputed society, dignitaries who addressed the gathering both in the forenoon and afternoon session, officers, office bearers who supported this society for the last 4 decades, senior officers of the Government of India, other distinguished of the India International Textile Machinery Exhibitions Society, India ITME Society in Mumbai, the Queen City for Commercial Development. I am truly honored having received the invitation to be the guest of honor and release the stamp commemorating the success of 40 years of India ITME Society in the august presence of distinguished members of the industry from across the globe. The clothes we wear have played an essential role throughout the history. They reflect the personality of individuals and can be used as a marker of a group, community, family, region, and even country. Few countries have used fabric as a tool to achieve freedom. India is a pioneer in this. Mahatma Gandhi began promoting the spinning of khadi for rural self-employment and self-reliance in the 1920s in India, thus making khadi an integral part and an icon of the Swadeshi movement. Nearly 7 decades in markets, the textile sector is one of the largest contributors to India's exports, accounting for approximately 11% of the total exports. It is estimated the accounting that domestic textile industry in India is projected to reach 223 billion US dollars by 2021 financial year from 150 billion by 2021 from 31.65 billion US dollars in financial year 2019. Undoubtedly, the future for the Indian textile industry consumption as well as export demand. This growth of the industry is not completely a surprise. India has always had an abundant availability of raw materials such as cotton, wood, silk and jute. India also enjoys a comparative advantage in terms of skilled manpower and in cost of production. No one
a little more enthusiasm. You have to work up your appetite. Miss Doris Nana. Excellency Mr. Demeke. Mr. Shafiqur Rahman. Mr. Armesh Wariwala. Mr. Armesh Wariwala. Mr. Avinash Maigar. The next category, which is the last one which we have, I promise. It is always a privilege and honor for the industry and the society to have the mentoring and participation for the last 40 participation and leadership. It is a great pleasure to acknowledge and thank you for your contributions towards the society and the industry in the last 4 decades. Mr. G.T. Demla. He is our past chairman and a founder member of India ITME Society. A big round of applause, gentlemen. Sure.
On these days. Would you like to share your experience with us?
Yeah, thank you. So to answer that question, I'll have to take back in time a little bit into the history of India ITME Society. So India Ethnic Society was formed about 40 years ago by our founding members who were visionaries of their time. India Ethnic Society, first of all, is a non-profit body, the sole objective being the overall improvement and health of the Indian textile industry. So when India Ethnic Society was started 40 years ago, there was a shortage of technology in India at the time. We had to rely on sourcing all of the equipment and machinery and everything from Europe. But over the course of time, we set up India Ethnic Society to have exhibitions, state-of-the-art, world-class exhibitions, where all of the Indian textile manufacturers can come to our events to see all the showcased equipment from manufacturers, not just from India, but from everywhere around the world, Europe, China, elsewhere. Not only that, the equipment manufactured in India now are world class, where we take our business to industry overseas, and we are competitive. We are amongst the top in the world, and the textile industry in India is about maybe the second most in terms of employment generation in our country today. So to answer your question, I think we are immensely pleased to be celebrating India Ethnic Society's 40th year, and I'm glad to be here in Mumbai today celebrating the event.
So what is the actually vision of India ITMI Society?
The vision of India ITME Society is the overall benefit and health of the textile industry in India. That's always been our vision. So we do everything to steer the industry as a whole forward. We conduct exhibitions. We have 2 state-of-the-art exhibitions coming up next year, 2020. Our first one will be in February 2020 in Ethiopia, where for the first time ever, India Ethnic Society is venturing overseas outside India to conduct this exhibition. Now, this has come up after a lot of thought, simply because Africa now is the last frontier that's not been explored and conquered. It's a big growing population, a lot of which is going to be young, and so by 2030 they're going to take up a lot of manufacturing operations across some of the fast developing African nations. So India Ethnic Society is actually conducting its first of a kind exhibition in Ethiopia in February. And then our flagship event, which is the India ITME exhibition, will be held in Noida at the IML Center in December 2020. So that's one of the largest such events anywhere in the world, and we expect to see a lot of visitors, not just from across India, the textile hubs, but also from everywhere around the world to come and see all of the equipment that we have showcased.
So India Ethnic Society has completed 40 years. On this basis, we have awarded some people. So we would like to know about these awards. How on what basis we have awarded?
Okay, so part of the awards is really we decided how are we going to celebrate this 40th year. It's not just about having a big party and celebrating it, but we also wanted to give back to a lot of prominent and deserving people. There are a lot of associations across India. Some of them are much smaller in size, associations that are working very hard to work to the benefit of their members. So their voice is very rarely heard in a national level. So we have these various categories so that we showcase them and highlight them on a national platform. And also India Ethnic Society, we are very much towards women empowerment, and we had several categories of awards in that area as well.
Okay, sir. You are not from India, but even after that you came to India and you bring this wonderful industry to India. You introduce your beautiful concept to India. really motivates you to?
We are all from India.
Oh.
Yeah, we're all based in India. Yeah. I just don't speak Hindi because I'm from Tamil Nadu, from the south.
A milestone like this always a moment of occasion. But could you highlight as to why the 40th year is, of course this is big, but why earlier we haven't seen ITME or your fraternity celebrate or make people acknowledge as to what this industry has done for the nation?
Are you saying India Ethnic Society has not?
The way you have conducted this event.
Correct.
As a milestone for the 40th.
Yeah.
Have you done earlier, and if so, why it hasn't reflected the way it is now?
I think 40 is a special occasion. Until then, you're still learning. I think every day is a learning experience. I think once you hit certain milestones and you move forward, you then have a cause for celebration. And
my point was, the contribution of the textile industry towards the whole nation today has been gigantic.
Yeah.
And it's something, you can equate it with the freedom struggle to the growth of India.
Yes.
It could be 70 plus these 40 or
Yes.
whenever 79 since you began.
Yes.
So, do you think now that it's time that we should, channelize, globalize?
Definitely, we should globalize it, take it overseas, showcase our brand overseas, things of that nature. So we haven't done it up to now, but it's about time, and so that's one of the reasons why we're now venturing overseas. It was always a task for us to pick a destination and to take our event overseas. It took a lot of struggle and research, but we were able to pick Ethiopia. We had very able partners in the International Trade Center, which assisted us in pinpointing Ethiopia and as one of the destinations for the future. Hopefully, we'll have many other destinations also in our roadmap forward. So we're not happy with where we stand today. We never were before. We always have a strong vision, and hopefully we'll see the path forward.
Everybody seems to be attracting you from Germany to Ethiopia to Ghana to Botswana.
Yeah.
The presence of Indian industry is huge.
Yeah.
As we see. So when you go overseas, like when Africa invites you or say Germany invites you, is it only from the interest of business per se, or does it involve things more than what we see?
Well, business, but I think all of those countries want to empower themselves too and have their local economies grow. And I think trade and business can really lead towards that path. And so I think it's a mutual area of interest. It's not one way. So I think we have to empower those countries also to take the skill set that we are able to provide through our experiences from 40 years. And that's what we can take to these nations as well.
So, what message?
You are trying to globalize India to society. We would like to know what really motivates you.
I think what motivates us, we're all first of all very proud to be Indian. We're all very proud of our heritage from the textile background. And textiles is an area where, a country like India or anywhere where the population is growing, the population is young, you have access to online purchases, you have the need for fashion, it's continuously trending upwards. I think it's a very interesting area, lots of challenges. And likewise, many of these developing countries across the world, they're also fast growing in terms of population. They're all very young. They've all got access to the internet, to state-of-the-art, the latest television programs, satellite television, whatever. I think they've got a lot of demand, and so hopefully we can take our skill set and merge are yeah, exactly.
Fabric. Sir, one last question.
Last question is, what message do you want to give a thought this? So what message do you want to give a thought this?
On the occasion of India Acme's 40th year, we want to thank all of our partners, associations, with everybody across the country that we've been involved with for the last 40 years, that we're very committed to the Indian textile industry, and we will stay committed to lead the road forward. The main message is we would like to see everybody attend our two flagship events next year, which is in ITMI Africa in February 2020, and also the main ITMI 2020 show.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं अली अब्बास। तेज़ रफ्तार न्यूज़ में आपका स्वागत है। आइए नज़र डालते हैं आज की कुछ ताज़ा खबरों पे।